Hello and welcome back to the channels of Metamon Racing Network. Tonight we are back with oval racing action on the iRacing platform once again. Tonight we are broadcasting round 3 of the Simracingmerch.com NASCAR Truck Series by Full Throttle Sim Racing for the Texas 150. I'm Blake Tilbrook and I really hope that you enjoy the broadcast tonight. You know, Texas Motor Speedway is obviously one of the most popular oval courses in America today, and no doubt it's going to produce more hard and close racing tonight like we just had on Monday night in the IndyCar Series. Once again, thanks brought to you by Full Throttle Sim Racing. Those guys got a very good community heading up in the oval world of iRacing here down under. Now, a lot of big names competing in tonight's round. In the virtual oval racing world and down under, so I'm going to expect a lot of closely heated battles throughout the entirety of the field tonight, and it's definitely an exciting spectacle for us viewers tonight. So currently the guys are actually set up in their practice session as we speak. I'm not sure how long we got to go, but the time is definitely ticking down there. So we just got 4 minutes 50 to go. We'll just have a look at a few of the drivers tonight, a few of the big name drivers. We'll just quickly have a run through on who's actually leading. So Aiden Schultz is your current leader, number 52. Decent time there. Just get that screen all set up so we're ready to go. So there we go. It's Aiden Schultz, followed by Adam Malone, the first of the Southern Stars Esports guys. We've got Zerkart in P3, Phelps in P4, Callum in P5. That's your top 5. We've got Holdsworth, a big name driver, in P6. He's 0.2 of a second down from the lead. And we've got Jordan also following a similar route there. Pritchard, we saw him in the Monday night series in the IndyCar series. He had a decent result, but yeah, hopefully he can go a lot better tonight as well. Maybe see him in the top 5, maybe an unlikely podium. Who knows? We'll wait and see. Allison, he's a big name driver as well in the world of Full Throttle. He's currently sitting in P9, and Koch rounds out your top 10 there. So the top 10 very competitively close there, separated by 2.5 of a second. So it just shows you the outright quality of the field that we got going in the truck series tonight. So it's Toyota 1-2. And then Chevrolet, P3, and Adam Malone for Southern Stars Esports. Ruben Phelps moves up into P4. So starting to put his competitive lap times in. Another big name driver in the oval racing down under community. So we might actually hop on board with Adam Malone. Keep in mind, this is only a practice session here, so really nothing to play for bar, getting up your seat time. So obviously that's all but important, especially when it comes to oval racing, getting to know what sort of lines you're going to take in the long run in the 150-mile race is definitely going to matter to these guys most. Obviously qualifying got a 2-lap dash, so it's essentially a 1-lap shootout for all the drivers out on the field tonight. So, generating the speed on the first lap and maximising what sort of outright pace you have on the second lap is going to be all but key. So really there's no room for error in qualifying tonight as we just tick under 2 minutes to go in official practice here at Texas Motor Speedway. So it's still Schultz, followed by Zerkart, followed by Malone. That's your top 3. Phelps and Cullen is your top 5. So there's a lot of improvement coming from a lot of these big name drivers earlier on. Holdsworth still holds P6, Jordan in P7. So it's still status quo at the back end of the top 10 there. We're on board with Adam Malone. Finally got trade and paints organised tonight. You can see a lot of work going into these liveries, and that's a very exciting prospect in the series as well. A lot of sponsors being represented, and you've got 3 different manufacturers in the truck series being represented as well, in Toyota, Ford and Chevy. So definitely a diverse racing grid tonight with variations of teams and sponsors as well. So it's very good to see a very growing community in the virtual oval racing world here in Down Under. And no doubt Full Throttle is definitely going to put on a good show tonight. So I'm very excited, and I'm sure you guys watching on are feeling the same vibe here at Texas. So yeah, Malone's still only good enough for P3. So we'll actually hop on board. We'll current pace setter Aiden Schultz, if he's out on track. We'll just quickly get a gist of where he is. Here we go. He's currently starting the hot lap here. He's got no room for error, really. He's got a car to the inside. And he's got no one up ahead, so I don't think it's going to be a fast lap from his perspective here. He needs that slipstream if he's to really improve on that time, that benchmark time that he set of a 30.16. So yeah, he's really got to find a fast driver to really make inroads on that time. Got to keep in mind, qualifying, you're out on track all by yourself, so the slipstream doesn't really matter. Going for runs like this, no doubt, there's a lot of gain to it if you're looking to maximise your qualifying position. But other than that, when it comes to race time, you want to obviously not be leading this earlier on. You want to be in the slipstream with the front guys, and sort of generate your momentum from there on in, and want to be leading obviously on the last lap, and that's where it all counts here. So we're ticking over to the official qualifying session now. So we've got 5 minutes to play. We're on board with the pace setter in official practice in Aiden Schultz. So can he replicate that time in qualifying? We'll wait and see. But yeah, we've got 5 minutes and counting down to see who will come out with pole position for the Texas 150. This is round 3 of the Simracingmerch.com NASCAR Truck Series hosted by Full Throttle Simracing. We've got a very populated grid tonight as well, which is very exciting to see. Guys, no doubt going to be putting on a huge show tonight. So we'll just get different camera angles going on here on board with Schultz. So we're going to start to see what sort of times we're going to get to tick over in the early stage of qualifying here. You see a couple guys, take their time and probably come out in the last couple of minutes just to see where their times could sit competitively and whether or not they sort of need to improve in certain sections of the track. But first time across the line for Aiden Schultz was a 30.76, but Michael Budge actually moves up into provisional pole, pipping him by half a tenth of a second. Now Colby Cowan actually moves up into provisional pole. So none of these times, obviously a first time around, are going to be decent enough times to really challenge for pole position. So we'll wait until these second laps tick on over to see what sort of times we're actually getting from some of these big name drivers. So Schultz about to cross the control line now, and he goes provisional pole with a 30.37. So wonderful effort from him. Callum actually still holds with a 30. He actually moves up to provisional pole, so there's massive changes going as we speak, and it's very hard to keep up with. So we'll sort of just get a gist of what's going on with a lot of drivers that are just making their way out on track. Jason Holdsworth not out on track. So scroll through the drivers here. So currently on board with Ray Zerka. I think he's actually finished his qualifying session here because he's backing out of it. And coincidentally, he's actually got a provisional pole as we speak, followed by Callum, followed by Schultz. That's your top three. Top three separated by half a tenth of a second. And then, we got Darren McKenzie sitting at half a tenth of a second back from Schultz in P4. Ryan Barber rounding out your top 5 so far. So we've got a couple big names there from Southern Stars Esports. We've got Pritchard moving up into P6. He competed in the IndyCar series on the Monday night. It's a decent banker time there for him. He'll be starting quite far up. Holdsworth actually moves up in the P4, as you can see there. So there's a lot of movement in the later stage of qualifying. I'm not really quite fast enough to get to, unfortunately. trying to see who's still out on track, but I reckon majority of the drivers are actually done and dusted for qualifying. We've still got a minute 15 and counting down until we go to the official race tonight. So on board with Elder here. So let's see where this puts him in comparison to the drivers around him. So he currently hasn't recorded a time yet, currently sitting P27. So what's his first banker lap going to be? It's only going to be good enough for P25 with a 31.15. So I'm assuming that's his first go around. Let's see what sort of pace he can generate on the second time around. Actually, he's backed out of it, so I reckon he's done and dusted as well. Unfortunately, back of the grid charge is on the cards for himself. We just let these seconds tick down because I don't think we actually have anyone else on track recording any hot laps here. So we'll just go to reiterating the grid. The official qualifying results will be up on your screen shortly. So here we go, your official grid. It will be Ray Zerkat who rounds off pole position, followed by Coleman P2. 2/100ths of a second separating the front row. What an unbelievable prospect we got there going. And we got Aiden Schultz, big name series comer here from Full Throttle Simracing. He starts out in P3. Adam Malone, we saw him in the Monday night IndyCar series, and he had a decent result there as well, inside the top 5. Jason Holdsworth rounds out your top 5, followed by Brad Allison on the 3rd row alongside him. And we got Darren McKenzie, Tom Pritchard, those guys also racing the IndyCar series Monday night. And no doubt they're going to be front-running drivers in tonight's round here at Texas as well. Ryan Barber and Kobe Jordan round out your top 10. That is row 5 here. And we got row 6, Duffy and Tocasio. Tocasio actually was in the IndyCar series in Monday night as well for round 3. And unfortunately, he finished 2 laps down on the race lead. He had severe tyre damage just before the last caution came out, unfortunately. No doubt his fortunes could change quite happily tonight if he can, keep the right mindset that he had in the closing stages, trying to generate some points there. So the mentality is definitely there if he has a few problems. We'll go further down. We got Brian Bullock and Matty Simpson. Those guys are on row 7. So the top 14 separated by 0.2 of a second. It's very competitive. And, we've only got 10 more drivers to get through here, and I would expect it to be half a second in it, and there's barely anything in it between any of these qualifying times. So there's a lot going on there. So we're just waiting to go green here. The guys coming out for their formation lap. Pace car is setting the pace lap here at Texas Motor Speedway. So signs are there. We're about to go green. So we'll just wait for the drivers to get out on track and go through their pre-race actions. So yeah, unfortunately we're not broadcasting on Facebook tonight, which is definitely a pity. Unfortunately, yeah, my account got banned for reasons that don't specify a reason to really be banned. I didn't go against any terms of services that were in that, so hopefully we get that back in the near future. So yeah, the guys are just pacing out on this pace lap, and we'll get the necessary camera views up to get the whole gist of what's going on. So here we go, we're near the front row. We're about to go green here for the Texas 150. This is round 3 of the SimRacerMerch.com NASCAR Truck Series, hosted by Full Throttle Sim Racing. So hopefully this is going to be a round to remember tonight. And I think we're about to go green here. So, yeah, so the pace car is drifting off left into pit lane. So that means we're about to go green. And here we go green for round 4. There we go. We had a few dramas last week with the iRacing platform. Hopefully it holds on this time around. But it's Ray Zerkart who holds the lead over Aiden Schultz, and it's Jason Holdsworth in P3. So we're going to go straight on forward to the front group there. And coincidentally, we're actually past lap 1. So we'll hop on board with Aiden Schultz. So this is your lead pack. Ray Zerkart leads over Aiden Schultz on the outside in the number 52 Toyota. And we've got Jason Holdsworth. He's a fair way back from this front pack here. So he's got a little bit of ground to make up, and it's Colby Cohen. He's starting on the front row, and he's already drifted back just a little bit. Adam Malone rounds out your top 5, and he is under pressure from Brad Allison behind, so it's very heated by the front 6 guys. Darren McKenzie, where is he? He's actually been the silent achiever tonight so far, just sitting back in P7 watching it unfold ahead. He's Sunstars Esports teammate Adam Malone. No doubt those guys are going to have a plan of attack throughout the entirety of this race, no doubt. Those guys are sitting 5th and 7th as we speak. A bit of a change for some track views here. So the second pack starting to form up. Tom Pritchard, the leader of that battle pack, going on behind. He's battling it out with Kobe Jordan and Ryan Barber. Here we go. The attention now lies on McKenzie. He's trying to go on the outside of Allison. Nothing's really working for him, as we can see on screen. Just remains status quo for these opening 3 laps for McKenzie. Malone still holding position up in P5. Ray Zerkart is actually the biggest loser on the previous lap. Ray Slater a lap ago, all the way back in P4 now. As you can see, he's on the inside lane, and on the outside is Adam Malone. He's going to move up into P4 for the very moment. Down the inside goes Zerkart. Can he hold off? Aiden Schultz is your new race leader, so we'll hop on board with him. So he's got the red hot attention from behind of Jason Holdsworth in the Toyota. And Colby Cohen in at P3. So there's a lot going on in this early stage. So we've got 27 cars rounding out this grid tonight, so there's going to be a lot of action to capture, no doubt. So these battle packs really starting to form now. The top 3 drifting away from the back 4 and the top 7. And that top 7 really close and really heated. Adam Malone, the leader of that battle pack there. He's got Ray Zerkart on the inside. And Allison, he's trying to poke his nose through the middle there. Still remains green here at Texas. These guys are really showing what sort of driver skill we've got throughout the grid. A lot of big name drivers really heating it up now. We're only on, what, a few laps in, so barely anything in. So we'll just go through the grid. So we've got Aiden Schultz, currently your race leader. Colby Cohen, currently in P2. Jason Holdsworth rounds out your top 3. And he's got the attention of Adam Malone right behind him, the Southern Stars Esports driver. He's really eager to get past and move into the top 3 and start to make a charge on the guys ahead. Where's his teammate? Now we got Kaiser, Go Ryan, and Southern Stars. There's a big support for the Southern Stars guys tonight. So very good to see. Southern Stars actually one of the biggest teams we got in the world of full throttle sim racing. Definitely well represented. We've got Brad Allison in the top 5. Darren McKenzie, he moves up in the P6. It's a massive drop from Ryan Zerkart in the previous pass. As you can see, he was your race leader a few laps ago, and he's drifted all the way back to P7. He was also your pole sitter, so bad early signs for him. He's got the attention of Pritchard behind. So Pritchard, he's really putting pedal to the metal down the inside lane on Zerkart by the looks of it. He's got that move done, has he? No, Zerkart actually drifted further forward. You've got Ryan Barber in P9, Jordan in P10, so your top 10 competitively close. Duffy in P11, Matty Simpson P12, Tristan Koch in P12 there. He's holding off Matt Patton behind in the 587 car. Joe DiCasio, we saw him on Monday night in the IndyCar Series. He's tracking quite well in the mid-pack so far, so no early dramas for him so far. It's a very promising sign from his perspective. We've got Ruben Phelps. He's a big name driver in the series, but currently all the way back in P16. Brian Bullock, 6P17. He's also competed in the Monday night. Dave Oliver in P18. Michael Budge. He's had a competitive qualifying time, but unfortunately, earlier on in that qualifying session, but got drifted back quite a bit. He started P19 and he's actually started P20 and he's up one position. The Goffers is actually sitting in the top 20. Steve McLennan in P21. Matty West in 22. Damon May in P23. Elder 24. Michael Shaw in 25th place. Kersey in 25th. Then we got Brett Campbell rounding out your 27 car grid here. So new race leader? No, definitely not. Aiden Schultz still remains in the lead of this race over Colm here. So that front pack just remaining single file. So they're all just sort of trying to get into the motions here in the early stage. You know, not trying to make early mistakes that are going to be costly towards the mid stage. That's going to have to require a change of strategy, no doubt. So we haven't had any cautions come out yet. It's very promising signs, and we're about 20 laps in. We're definitely going to change the timing and how it's set up there at the top in the leaderboard ticker there. Just bear with me here while I get myself organised. See if I can change that. There we go, priority. There we go. So we're on lap 15 of 100. Yeah, completely different overlay to what we had Monday night. So I've got two separate overlays for the different series, just to sort of distinguish the difference here and give it a bit more atmosphere in comparison to what we're actually racing on the night. So I reckon what I had on Monday night sort of fit the picture for the IndyCar series, and obviously in Oval NASCAR Truck Series, we got this sort of vibe going on here with the ticker going on at the top of the screen. So sort of try to distinguish the difference as much as possible. But back onto the broadcasting at hand here. It's still Aiden Schultz over Colby Cohen. Aiden Schultz is actually extending that lead out. Allison on the outside, or the inside, sorry. And he's actually moved up into P2. The moment around turn 2, but quickly eclipsed of P2 there. In the background we've got Darren McKenzie, so he's really made up a lot of ground in the last few laps. Sunstars Esports driver. And where's his teammate David Malone? These guys you'd expect to really be helping each other out. So Malone is back in the P6. He's actually about 10 car lengths behind almost. So he's got a little bit of catching up to do if those guys are to work together and charge up to the front of the pack. So we've got three different manufacturers in the top three. Aiden Schultz driving the Toyota, Colby Cohen driving the Ford, and unfortunately a change of podium here in Darren McKenzie, another Ford driver in P3. Brad Allison in the Chevrolet, he's the lead Chevrolet in P4. Down the inside goes Holdsworth in the number 1 Toyota. He pulls it off through to mid-corner, out of turn 2, down the back straight. He should get into the slipstream and maintain position there, just right in behind Darren McKenzie. So you just get a gist of what's going on. The gap between first and second, 1.3 seconds and extending. So Aiden Schultz, he's really blitzing the field to date so far. He's definitely in a league of his own. I'm not sure what sort of tyre deck he's got going on right now, but being a 100-lap race, and I'm pretty sure the guys only have one set of tyres in the tyre bank as well. He would sort of want to conserve them as much as possible, especially in the first stint, because I'd rather, me personally, be on a green set of tyres on the last 30 laps, and it's definitely going to give you a major advantage there. It might cost a little bit of track position, but in comparison to the guys around you that could quite possibly pit in on the first 40 laps and get a new set of tyres then, you're going to be on 30 lap younger tyres, which is definitely the more favourable situation of the two. You definitely have a little trade-off there, like I mentioned. Mackenzie moves up in the P2. Jason Holdsworth remains in the top three. Allison in P4. Colin, he's the biggest loser on the last couple laps, all the way back in P5 now. Adam Malone still tracking well in P6, right on in behind. So quickly see what he's up to. We'll go on board with him. Chasing down the Ford driver, number 25, Carl Mahead, who started on the front row, drifted back 4 positions from where he started so far. Some trophies are earned from Bin Chicane Racing. Down the inside goes Malone for Sunstars Esports, so he's really gaining ground now. And quite possibly could be helping out his teammate in about 10 laps time if he can keep up this pace. Go. Colm on the outside, but he's definitely not going to get the move done. I don't think the grip is out there just yet. So you can see those guys go side by side as we cross control line. So hopefully there's no contact made. As you can see, Malone still stuck on the outside, holding off a charging Colm on the outside. So these guys, barely anything in it. This is the battle for P5 as we speak. These two guys are drifting further and further back from the lead pack as they battle each other here. So I guess either of those two guys really need to help each other out right now, sort of get into the slipstream of one another and slingshot lap after lap to the catch up to the front pack here. Aiden Schultz is still your race leader over Darren McKenzie behind, and Jason Holdsworth. Those two guys really keeping the ground coming. Right in behind there is Allison. He's been a silent achiever so far. He started in the top 5. I'm pretty sure he's up a couple of positions from where he started, so definitely promising signs for him. Ryan Barber currently in that lead mid-pack group in P7, holding off Ray Zerkart, the pole sitter. So the pole sitter definitely got a lot of work to do if he's to make up that lost ground. I don't think the race pace is really coming to grips here. And down the inside goes Kobe Jordan. Can he pull it off on these two guys? He's got a decent amount of momentum coming out of turn 2. The guys behind him, Ruben Phelps and Duffy, they're in the picture as well. So look for those guys to charge in the background here. So there's definitely a lot of action going on throughout the field. That's sort of your lead mid-pack group there. Matt Patton sort of catching up to the back of this mid-pack here. Also Tom Pritchard, he's actually further up a few laps ago as well, so he's definitely lost a lot of ground. It's Matty Simpson currently watching on. He's got the likes of Tristan Koch and Michael Budge in behind. There's a lot of lap cars in the picture as well by the looks of it, so sort of getting the gist of what's going on around. Michael Shaw inside the top 20, so he's moved up a few positions there. He's up 7. Steve McLennan, he's down 5, so he's one of those guys that have lost a lot of ground off his starting position, so he sort of needs to get back into the gist of what he had going in qualifying. It's still Aiden Schultz over Mackenzie. It looks like Schultz is coming in for a green flag pit stop. So strategy play here from your race leader. What is Darren McKenzie going to do? Is he going to react? If so, he's going to have to react this lap. And the likes of Jason Holdsworth, no doubt, will follow station for what McKenzie does in the near future here. So we'll just keep a close eye on what these guys do. Brad Allison's still in the background as well. So I reckon these top 3 guys might actually come in this lap. Actually, only McKenzie. He's the only driver that's coming in. He's got lap traffic down the inside, heading in the pit lane. Lucky enough not to make contact, so that could have been catastrophic for Mackenzie's results tonight. So he needs a very good pit stop here if he's to hold off the undercut from Aiden Schultz. He was race leader just a lap ago. So Jason Holdsworth still out on track. And he's got the likes of Brad Allison still in behind. Ryan Barber currently up into the top three now with Ruben Phelps and Kobe Jordan. So there's a lot of green flag pit stops starting to unfold here. So we'll actually get the pit stop data up on screen. If I have that sort of capability. So there we go. We got pit stop strategy going on there. So none of those guys you can see on screen right now have come in for a pit stop. Holdsworth is your race leader. Yeah, so we're just waiting on those guys to make green flag pit stops here. We're on lap 31 of 100. So there's going to be a lot of guys that go on a new set of rubber, but there may be a few that opt to stay on their current set and sort of try to preserve that as long as they can. And obviously there's going to be a trade-off, as mentioned before, but obviously it's going to be a long-term game, especially if there's a late race caution, which is definitely not surprising when it comes to oval racing. There's definitely a lot of late race cautions that go on regardless of what's going on around the track. But here you go. Schultz is your race leader, followed by Mackenzie and Allison Holdsworth. He's actually the loser out of the top four. He actually lost the position to Allison. Malone's actually in the top five. Combs in P6. Duffy, Jordan, that's your top 8 there. So we'll just get the pit stop data off screen now. We'll just quickly have a look at the stint length. So there you go, stint length. So Schultz and Mackenzie pretty much coming in on the same lap, separated by 1 lap, those two guys. And yeah, Allison actually pitted in 4 laps after. So he didn't lose too much ground as I thought he would. So it's definitely a lot of surprising outcomes out of those green flag pit stops, and the variation in strategy, no doubt. So we're on board with Malone here. He's currently just sitting inside the top 5. He's currently sitting P4 with Brad Allison ahead. These two guys actually battling it out for P3. The race leaders are actually quite a fair way ahead. Aiden Schultz got a 2.3 second lead over Mackenzie behind. He's got no benefit of the draft whatsoever. As you can see on screen, the next car ahead of him is, I think it's Aiden Schultz. I don't think there's a lap car. So change camera angle here just to see if it's lap traffic behind. I think it is. So Mackenzie's got lap traffic to deal with before he gets to the rear bumper of Aiden Schultz. So there's a lot of work to be done there for the Sunstars esports driver. Lowe moves up into the top 3. So if he can catch up to the rear end of Mackenzie, those two guys, being teammates, no doubt are going to work together quite fiercely. And yeah, no doubt there's going to be play for keeps in the last 10 laps or so between the two teammates as well. Colm actually sitting in the top 4 now. Allison moves back a position. Ruben Phelps, he's a silent achiever in the background as of recently. He was sitting in P16 about 20 laps ago. Now he sits inside the top 10 quite comfortably, and he's tracking down the rear end of Allison, who's been in a competitive standpoint throughout the entirety of the early stage of this one. So Phelps is definitely making up a lot of ground, so look out for him to be an unlikely podium finisher from where we saw him just about a couple, 20 laps ago. Matt Patton also following station as well. He was also one of those guys that was well out of the top 10 as well and made up a lot of ground under the green flag pit stops. So this battle pack is starting to really heat up for P5. So Ruben Phelps holds it over Matt Patton, and Allison losing ground quite quickly here. So I'm not sure if he actually changed onto a newer set of tyres or not, but it doesn't look so. He's losing a lot of ground, but like I said, trade-off, but a long-term gain if you can get on those tyres a lot later than everyone else. If a caution does come out at that stage, you can pick them off like, you know, they're 30% AI, so there's definitely a lot going on there, no doubt. So Aiden Schultz still holds the lead, but it's actually been chipped in by Darren McKenzie. He's only 1.6 seconds behind him now. So definitely a lot of inroads being made from McKenzie. And his teammate in behind, Adam Malone, catching up to the rear end of McKenzie as well. So there's definitely going to be quite heavy gains by those guys in the near future. Started on the front row, but drifting back just ever so slightly, but regaining a little bit of ground here and there. Still promising signs that he can end up on the back end of the podium if he can upper his pace as we speak. He's got a lot of lap traffic up ahead that he has to contend with, but should make easy play of those guys there. Picking up on board with McKenzie. So he's got about 3 lap cars up ahead, which, yeah, from his perspective, it's quite a frustrating situation, especially how earlier on we're still in the race. We're not even halfway through yet, so surprisingly enough, we haven't had a caution come out with a very populated field, which to my expectation, I'd expect at least 1 or 2 by now, but the drivers are really cracking some good green flag racing here and, you know, fighting bumper to bumper without causing any drama. It's very exciting scenes from that point of view. Obviously not as stressful if you're a driver out on field right now. So still a lot to get used to of this changes of camera on iRacing, but we're getting there. Currently overseeing Darren McKenzie cracking a few fast laps here around Texas Motor Speedway. He's making slow inroads in on race leader Aiden Schultz, who's a couple cars up ahead. Those 2 guys both solidly down the back straight entering turn 3. So Aiden Schultz is actually 1 car ahead of McKenzie. Adam Malone, he's actually drifted off from his teammate quite a bit on the previous 2 laps, so I don't see those 2 guys working together anytime soon. Same to say about Colm here. No in-grounds really being made. Ruben Phelps, he doesn't really have any benefit of the draft ahead either, so these guys sitting outside the podium, there's really no gains going here, because there's no one really working together. As we saw in the IndyCar race on Monday night, we want to see more of the slingshot effect going on corner after corner here, as we can see on screen now. I reckon these 2 guys, Matt Patton and it's lap traffic, so it's letting lap traffic on by. It's very good to see. Tom Pritchard still in the background, just inside the top 10 in P7. I think he's got Ryan Barber right in behind from Southern Stars Esports, so these 2 guys really starting to have a heated battle here, both being teammates as well. They really want to try fight each other as hard as they would like to right now. Still plenty of laps to go. So a couple of lap cars up ahead for these 2 guys to contend with. I think if anyone's really working together, it's definitely the 2 Southern Stars Esports drivers we're watching on board with now. So I think if anyone's making inroads, it's definitely these 2 guys. Elder getting out of the way, he's lap down. So it's the first lap cars in that order. Hayden Schultz still holds the lead. That interval is closing. Darren McKenzie really coming in hot. I think he's definitely benefiting from the draft of these two guys ahead, because they're keeping up quite decent pace, especially Hayden. Darren McKenzie's right on the rear bumper. I'm not sure what happened with the camera view here. So McKenzie still making those inroads. It's very easy to heat up the rear tyres as well here at Texas. So, turn one, you really got to sort of play it safe. Just to try and maintain the thermal deck and maintain maximum tyre grip through the mid-corner. I think that's right traffic in the background. It is. So Adam Malone only just coming out turn 4 now. You can just see him in the background. Not sure what's going on here. iRacing not playing nice tonight, just like Monday night. So I'm not sure if we're going to see any more pit stops anytime soon. I don't think any of the guys, if any, have enough fuel to the end for to go green for the remainder of this one. Surprisingly, like I mentioned earlier, we haven't had a caution yet, so from the driver's point of view, it really starts to pop into their minds, you know, is it worth going in for a green flag pit stop? Because I reckon everyone's going to have to make at least one more green flag pit stop if we're not to have a caution. So we'll just wait and see how those scenes unfold as we tick over the halfway point. Lap 53 of 100. So still plenty of racing to go. So there's still plenty of time for the likes of McKenzie to really close up that gap on Schultz. So we'll sort of see if we've got any battle packs going on in the background. So McKenzie and Malone, Sunstars Esports guys, sort of racing on their own pace, as well as the majority of the top 5. Ryan Barber actually gapping Tom Pritchard. The two teammates, surprisingly enough, aren't really working together right now, which is very surprising. Allison sitting in P9. Oliver rounds out the top 10, so none of the top 10 guys really much of a competitive standpoint at this stage. So that really favours the likes of Hayden Schultz, because he doesn't have guys with greater momentum in behind. So he'll definitely be licking his lips right now and be hoping that remains status quo for the rest of the race. But if you're anyone like Damon May, Ruben Phelps, these guys I reckon are definitely relying on a caution to really play themselves into it. A couple big names just sitting outside the top 10. Kobe Cohen actually front row starter, and surprisingly enough, he actually started out P3, sorry, but yeah, drifted off quite a bit since we last saw him. So Ray Zerkart was your pole sitter, and he's sitting in P15. So the likes of those guys really struggling, but Hayden Schultz still holding over McKenzie. Have a few green flag pit stops going on here. Ruben Phelps and Ashley Kersey, those guys are in the pits, just coming out now. So we might actually get that data up on screen as these pit stops start to unfold. And it might be the last of the green flag pit stops. Here we go. Schultz coming in. Race leader comes in. Mackenzie is your new race leader. So I reckon Mackenzie will follow the same station as last time and sort of remain out for this time around and then come in a lap after. It's definitely to go, I would assume. So Malone's still out. Schultz currently sits in P3. Barber goes on ahead as well. I think Pritchard will also follow station. So race leader is in the pits alone in comparison to the competition around him. And here we go, caution. So this is definitely going to favour the likes of previous race leader Aiden Schultz because he comes in at the right time. And I reckon he's going to take the lead of this one once the pace car comes out. There's no doubt race leader, current race leader that is, Darren McKenzie, is going to come in under caution conditions. So we'll quickly get a gist of where he is. So he's going to form up right behind the pace car, but I think we're only just coming out of turn 4 right now, so I reckon he's going to drift off to the left-hand side. Got his teammate Adam Malone in the background as well. So let's see if any of these two guys start the pit in. I'm not sure what actually happened, so I'm just going to have a look at the previous events that unfolded. Sort of get a gist of what went on. There's really nothing saying about what happened on my race events here. So we might actually get a couple of the drivers up for caution interview. So we might actually get our race leader in for a quick chat, and Aiden Schultz. No doubt he's been quite shocked with what happened. It definitely came out at the right time for him, that's for sure. So we'll quickly see if he's up for a chat. Hey Aiden, it's Blake from the broadcast booth, mate. How you going?
Yeah, good mate, good. How are you?
Caution came out the right time for yourself.
Not really, mate. I'm back in 7th. It came out when I was in pit lane. So on my relative at the moment, Darren's in 1st. We'll see what happens when I go.
Yeah, my relative was saying that you're in P1, but yeah, I'm just quickly clarifying that, and yeah.
We'll see how it goes when we go across the line. It might update itself.
Yeah. But yeah, obviously caution came out unexpectedly. It's the first for the night, and it's quite surprisingly enough with the populated field we have tonight, and you've been leading for majority of it quite comfortably.
Yeah, mate, it's been a pretty good run. Going all right so far. So strategy at the moment, I've double stinted this set of tyres, so probably around about that 72, 73 lap mark I'll be coming in and take my last set and go to the end, hopefully. So we'll see. People will be on different strategies here, so we'll just try to keep out of trouble and see how we go.
So what sort of trade-off are we looking at here? Like, it's definitely a short-term gain in the last section of the race, especially if a caution comes out. You'd be picking off guys like...
mate, look, I'd much rather have a set of tyres for the end. I know the way Jason Holdsworth just caught me and left me for dead. He probably got a set of tyres there, so... I don't know whether he's done the opposite to me, so didn't take tyres on that first pit stop, did a short stint, and then took his freshies. So he's probably got another set of freshies there, which puts him where he is. But I don't know, a lot to play out yet, mate. We'll see.
Thanks for coming in the broadcast booth, and good luck for the remainder of this race.
No worries, mate. Appreciate it. Have a good call.
Quick chat with one of our top contenders tonight in Aiden Schultz, and surprisingly enough he's definitely not leading this one, but my timing is actually saying he's leading, so Definitely a screw up from the iRacing live timing as we speak. Definitely not sure what's going on there, but we'll wait and see what happens once we're back to green flag racing here. He's actually back out in the lead now, so there we go. It's all rectified itself, so it'll be Aiden Schultz who leads over Mackenzie. I'm pretty sure they're all forming up in double file, and this will be the last time around with the pace car. Everyone getting catching up to the back of the pack. So we've got the two Sun Stars teammates, actually three Sun Stars teammates in Darren McKenzie, Barber and Malone, all those guys in the top four, and they're going to put a lot of pressure on your race leader, Aiden Schultz. So, yeah, like Aiden said before, there's still a lot to play out, and with a train of Sun Stars Esports guys right in behind, it's definitely going to be a situation that's not favourable for himself. So we'll wait and see how that plays out there. We got Tom Pritchard inside the top five. Allison has been there or thereabouts throughout the entirety of the race so far. So let's hope that fortune continues for him. Tristan Koch actually moves up in the top 10. Ruben Phelps remains in the top 10 as well as Damon May and Dave Oliver. Those guys both been chicane teammates. So they're going to be working on the back end of the top 10, working together. So here we go. We're back to green flag racing here for the Texas 150. The trainer Southern Stars Esports guys behind, really applying the pressure now. Darren McKenzie on the outside of Aiden Schultz. For the very moment, he's got the lead of this one, and he completely clears in there. So the momentum not enough for Schultz to hold off. Down the inside goes Adam Malone. He's got to make easy prey as well. There's the third guy, Ryan Barber. He's drifted off a bit. He's got a lot of pressure in behind from Allison. He's got an overlap down the inside, and he should make an easy move there heading into turn one, and he does. So we've got Barber just holding the outside lane there. So we have another caution. So two cautions in a matter of a couple of laps. This is insane. Now, do I have any information on the race feed on what transpired? So Matt Patton has crashed apparently, so that's what brought out this second caution for the night. So we'll see if we can go back and sort of get a gist of what happened there. So let's try to get that replay up on screen. Matt Patton was tracking quite well in the top 15 as well, so definitely surprising for himself that his race has ended prematurely here. See, he's back in for some repairs, and no doubt he'll get out on track, but we'll just quickly get a replay up on screen. I'm not sure if we got any replay up on screen here, but there's a lot of guys in the pits here. We'll just get back to live scenes. I really have to work on that during the week just to get that down packed. So we'll get back on board with race leader Aiden Schultz. And we might actually have a chat with Darren as well if he's going to be available. So we'll just get everything organised here. Not sure how long we got the pace car out for, but we'll quickly have a chat to the Sun Stars Esports driver Darren McKenzie. Came P2 in the IndyCar Series Monday night. Losing out, sorry, P3. He's slowly lost out to his teammate and the reigning champ. Darren, it's Blake from the booth. How you going, mate?
Hey Blake, how you going?
Yeah, not bad. 2 cautions in a matter of 2 laps. Definitely doesn't really change anything just yet, but so looking at it, it's definitely the first caution that came out. It definitely brought you right up to the rear end of Aiden Schultz. You're drifting off quite a bit just before that first caution came out. Has that first caution really helped?
Yeah, I was able to get on the fresh tyres then. I think Aiden's still on the old tyres for now, so yeah, we'll see how it goes at the end, whether I've still got a bit of pace or can get enough of a lead.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely going for a shorter term gain here just to try get track position.
If there's another caution or 2, I can get home on this tank, so it's going to be close.
All right. You've got a couple of teammates in behind as well. Is there a lot of teamwork going on there?
I think there's a couple of different strategies going as well, so yeah, it's a bit of teamwork and talking between us in the background there to try and figure out the best way home.
Yep. Cool. I'll let you get back at it. You should be on the green soon. So yeah, good luck for the remainder of this race, mate.
No worries, thank you.
Just had a quick word there with Darren McKenzie, currently sitting P2. I think this will be the last lap under caution. As you can see, the majority of the drivers are slowly forming up behind, so not too far to go here. We're currently under caution, I think about 60 odd laps in now, so we'll get that pitch strategy up off screen. I've actually had that on for quite a while now. I deeply apologise for that. You can see quite a few big names leading up front, like sort of Adam Malone, Darren McKenzie and Aiden Schultz, those guys. Yeah, really where we expect them to be. Ryan Barber also following station as well. Brad Allison rounds out your top 5. Tom Pritchard, yes, been there or thereabouts tonight, so he's still tracking well for an unlikely podium if he can get the upper hand of some big names ahead. Tristan Koch, he's came out of nowhere. Ruben Phelps, another big name driver, currently just outside that front leading pack there. Duffy and Cole just rounding out your top 10. So we're about to go green once again. This is under second caution conditions, so 2 cautions within a matter of a couple of laps. You might see at least 1 or 2 more tonight, but for the driver's sake, or for many of them, it might be a blessing if they didn't. But for the likes of McKenzie and Schultz, if they can get another caution, definitely make it home on field. So, but you still got Schultz to come in for his green set. So here we go. Green flag is out once again at Texas Motor Speedway. Just get a quick gist of who's leading this one. So it's McKenzie over Malone, over Schultz. I reckon Schultz came in and got that fresh set of tyres. So strategy change from his perspective from that second caution. In behind is Allison and Barber. That's your top 5. And they're drifting quite a fair way back from that front 3 pack. And they got a lot of charging cars in behind. Tristan Koch, Ruben Phelps, Tom Pritchard. They're really battling it out, this mid-pack group here. It might be worth staying on board with the likes of Ryan Barber, the Sunstars Esports driver. He's leading quite a charging pack here. He's definitely got the upper hand for the very moment. But he'd like to make some inroads on the guys ahead as well. Tom Pritchard in screen behind, closely followed by Duffy on the outside. This is looking very risky for some of these guys in the mid-pack here, as we got 2 wide racing action going on through turns 1 and turn 2. So we're on lap 71 of 100, so there's not many laps to go, and it's going to be touch on go for field for majority of the field here. So Duffy on the inside of Barber gets the move done quite easily. Kobe Jordan also following in behind the steps of Duffy there. So those 2 guys really making up ground pretty quickly on the opening 2 laps after the second caution. We got another surprise packet in Ruben Phelps coming down the inside. So Ryan Barber, he's losing a lot of ground, and I don't know why he is. Might be struggling on a set of tyres, but we got another caution. So caution free of the night. We barely lasted another 2 laps once again. Might actually get Barber in the broadcast booth here, just to sort of get a gist of what happened under green there. It's a matter of 3 positions in a matter of a couple of corners, so definitely a surprising outcome after that second caution. I'll actually see what actually brought out that caution. I should have brought in Matt Patton in on the caution too, just to have a chat and get a gist of what happened there. But looking at the events now, so it was Michael Shaw that went off track and has brought out the caution, so I'll actually see what happened there if I can go further enough back just to analyse the situation. I think he's got a little bit loose out of turn 4, and he hasn't clipped the outside wall. It might be up ahead. He's definitely losing a lot of ground here. This is just prior to bringing out of the 3rd caution. Sort of speed it up just a little bit. Yeah, I can't really get the gist of where it happened, so we'll just get back to live scenes. Yeah, I might actually bring it in for a chat to see what happened, because I don't have any evidence of what happened there. It's just that it was brought out there. He's turned the pit lane as well. Sure how far off we are off this caution, so I'll be a little bit too late to bring on a driver in the broadcast booth. So we'll just wait and see what unfolds from here on in. So we'll just get a reiteration of the grid as we stand. So the timing's definitely misleading at this stage. Pretty sure it's still, no, Aiden Schultz is caught up in the mid-pack now, so it might actually be true of what we're seeing here. So yeah, Darren McKenzie is a race leader over Agathis, and sorry if I mispronounced the name there, but yeah, Adam Malone in P3, Brad Allison in P4, and then in the top 5 is Garth Duffy. So surprise packet so far in Duffy, started outside the top 10. And there you have Aiden Schultz, one of our favourites to take out victory tonight. Dave Oliver, Ruben Phelps, Kobe Jordan, Colby Cohen round out your top 10. Tristan Koch outside the top 10 now. Ryan Barber lost a lot of ground off the second caution there. He was well and truly quite comfortably in the top 10. And unfortunately enough, he's lost a lot of ground and he's just sitting outside the top 10 now. So there you have it. Michael Budge sitting in P15, Matty West on the screen there in P16, and Matty Simpson in P17, Brett Campbell, Brian Bullock, and Jason Holdsworth is your top 20. I think Holdsworth is He's a few laps down, unfortunately enough, so he's really just trying to gain ground. Elder, these are all your lap drivers here. Just trying to gain some laps back. Joe DiCasio, fortunately, the fortunes that happened at Chicagoland in the IndyCar Series Monday night have followed him here to Texas, so not good scenes for him. And for the pole sitter, he's completely out of it, so unfortunate scenes there for Ray Zerkart. Matt Patton, who brought out the second caution, is also parked up in pit lane as well, so there's a lot of misfortunes there for some big name drivers. Just try to fix up what's going on here with the cameras. So here we go. There's your front two. Mackenzie will lead. He's got his teammate in behind. He's on the inside lane in the number 4 of Adam Malone. So these two guys will be looking to get the launch, and they do. So Malone right up in the P2 just before the control line here. So he makes easy ground there. No doubt these two Southern Star Esports teammates are going to try help out each other as much as possible. Try get one of those guys in the top step of the podium in victory lane. Oh, a lot of pressure in behind here. Brad Allison drifting off quite a bit. Garth Duffy down the inside. Can he get the move done on Allison? He's got nowhere to go, unfortunately. Aiden Schultz on the outside lane. He's also blocked in. Then you got Ruben Phelps. He's just a bystander in the background here, waiting for something to unfold as we go bumper to bumper on the outside line. Allison and Schultz. Just on the iRacing side of things, service side is really playing up tonight just a little bit. But here you go, the two Southern Stars Esports teammates, currently 1 and 2. Aiden Schultz moves up into the top 3, and he's making ground really quick here. So that mid-pack right there, that's a battle for the top 5. We're currently watching over Ruben Phelps, who's currently sitting in P7 in the 06 Toyota. He's got Brad Allison ahead, trying to make a move down the inside on Duffy. The Garfos has actually got the upper hand in P4 for the time being. Allison on the inside, he can't hold P5 there, so he's going to drift off quite a fair way back down the back straight. He's going to... I think we've got another caution. So quickly see if that's true or not. No, we're still under green flag conditions. So 20 laps remaining for the Texas 150. Your current race leader happens to be Darren McKenzie over Adam Malone and Aiden Schultz. That's your top 3. Aiden Schultz is your current race leader, so he's actually gained a lot of ground since we've lost camera connection here. It's not really giving me the perspective to go on board with him, so bit out of it here. But yeah, Aiden Schultz is a race leader. Now what's happened to Darren McKenzie? Because he's all the way back in P5 now, and he's in this charging pack in behind the 2 race leaders. You've got Ruben Phelps. He's the biggest gainer on the previous 2 laps, and he's chasing the rear bumper of Adam Malone in the 4 car ahead in the Chevrolet. And he's making quick ground on him, so we might actually get an on-board view of what's going on in the cockpit here, just to see what sort of ground he's making. So here we go, on board with Ruben. He's currently got an overlap down the inside. You got Aiden Schultz up ahead. Phelps is really making inroads, and it could be a surprising race victor tonight if this pace continues. Aiden's ground from the guys behind. I don't know why it keeps cutting out. For after the broadcast, of course, but Aiden Schultz still remains to be your race leader. And I think it's every time I try to go on board with Schultz, get a bit of disconnection there. We're on board with Ruben. He's got the likes of Malone, the car 04 in the background there. half four. I deeply apologise for that. And you can see up ahead, there you go, Aiden Schultz. So he's still maintaining the status quo with that gap. He's still got Ruben Phelps to worry about for the remaining laps here at Texas. But Adam Malone really making quick inroad here. So hop on board with him. He's got a very good view of the two race leaders ahead. These two guys really benefiting from outright pace in behind. See Colby Cole in behind as well. So he's made up a lot of ground recently as well. Rounding out your top five is Garth Duffy in the background. He's drifting off just a little bit. Kobe Jordan in the top six as well. So these gaps really starting to extend out now. Brad Allison in P8. Kristen Koch and Pritchard rounds out your top 10. Ryan Barber quickly making ground back here. Still not in the top 10 yet. He's got a couple of his teammates up ahead. He really would like to catch up to and sort of work together to maximise his result tonight. I reckon the best he's going to get is back end of the top 10 on current numbers. So if he can make up that ground on Koch, it looks as though he might go for the inside lane if he can get an overlap. He's going to go for it. He's got his number 6 teammate up ahead in Pritchard. Pritchard has got Garfus up ahead as well. So there's a lot of heated battles going on at the back end of the top 10. Aiden Schultz is still your race leader, so I don't think there's anything changed here in regards to the gap as well. So there you go. In the background we see Ruben Phelps. He's still maintaining that gap in Aiden Schultz. Colby's actually moved up into the top 3 as we speak as well. Malone back in the P4 and Duffy right on the rear bumper of him. So there's still a lot to play for in the minor positions here. So Duffy getting overlap down the inside of Adam Malone. Malone still holding off. We've got a bit of lap traffic down on the inside lane there, which isn't going to play too much of a key issue. So we've got 10 laps to go here at Texas Motor Speedway for the Texas 150. Currently your race leader is Aiden Schultz by a comfortable margin in the oval racing world terms. We're currently on board with Duffy. This is the battle for P4. Duffy could get an overlap heading the turn 3 here, and he sends it down the inside, but not able to maximise grip there. Just back through the mid-corner. It's not the result he was looking for. 8 laps to go, so he's still got a little bit of time to make that move. We'll head to the front of the pack to see if anything has changed. So we'll see if Aiden Schultz is still your race leader. I'm pretty sure he is. Yeah, but still quite comfortably. And we got a late race caution. So caution 4 comes out here at Texas Motor Speedway. And what an ending we're going to have here. Let's see who your key race contenders are here. So we've got Schultz, Phelps, Malone, Duffy, Jordan, Allison, Pritchard, Barber, Agarfos, sorry. And then Koch. That's your top 10. And I'm not sure where Mackenzie is wound out because he's actually a lap down right now. He's currently sitting in P17. So did he bring out the caution? So it was Ashley Kersey who actually crashed out, and he's brought out the 4th caution for the night. Let's see if anyone's up for a chat. I might actually talk to one of the guys that surprise packets tonight. I might actually see if we can get Phelps Ruben Phelps in the broadcast booth to just get a quick perspective of how his charge from the midfield has sort of come about. Because it's definitely surprising from my perspective here in the broadcast booth. So I want to get his perspective on how that unfolded. So we'll see if he's up for a chat here.
No excuses for that crap. I mean, I know you got to start again. You got to start somewhere, but
Hey Ruben, it's Blake from the broadcast booth. Sorry to catch you off guard just a little bit. Surprising result so far. You came from the midfield in the mid stage during the race, coming from P17. I think that's as far back as you were earlier on, and to put yourself in a race-winning position under what could be the last caution.
Yeah.
It's fixing itself up. But yeah, go on, mate.
But no, I had a bad qualifying, and I knew I should have been in probably that top 5, at least top 6. But then, other than that, the race has been going pretty smoothly. Just picked off one by one each lap, and of course got my teammate that I'm battling for the win at this point. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But other than that, my race has been pretty good.
Absolutely, yeah. Credit to you for that pace that you got going right now, and to sort of recover from, like you said, what you had a poor qualifying session. It's definitely a good sign, and putting yourself in a race-winning position right now under this caution is definitely a good position you want to be in.
Exactly, especially with coming into this round, the championship leader by 1 point over my teammates. So it's definitely a bit of a battle between us right now. We'll see how we go on this restart. Hopefully it's the last one, but you never know in these races. You always get a green-white checker sometimes, and of course that just causes more chaos.
So to go here, you're obviously sort of separating off into your own key elements right now as teammates, sort of going for your own race win, or is there an aim just to get one of you on the top step of the podium?
We're definitely going to work together to make sure we get a 1-2, but we're definitely not going to definitely not just going to hold position. We're going to race each other as hard as possible, but we're not going to jeopardise the position.
Awesome. What's your tyre condition looking like? How many laps have you done on those?
I think the caution, maybe I've done about 15 laps, about 15, 18 laps on these tyres. Especially with these 2 cautions, takes that down a little, couple more laps.
Yeah, so still relatively new, so you got a lot to help you fight for that front position, no doubt as well.
Yeah, definitely. But anyway, I better get back into it.
All right, good luck for the remainder few laps that we got here, Ruben, and wish you all the best.
Yeah, thank you.
So you have it. Comments from Ruben there. So the 2 teammates go on battle, and like you said, it's a closely fought championship battle going on there. Those 2 guys both separated by 1 point. And, it's good enough that we're going to not see sort of a prioritised position here between the 2 guys. They're definitely going to go for the race victory, each and every one of those guys, but they're still going to try get the priority of getting one of their drivers on the top step, no doubt, and maybe come out with 1-2, but wait and see. You've got the likes of Adam Malone and Duffy in the background that are no easy beats here, so it's definitely going to be a tough challenge on making that come to fruition here. So here we go. We go green after caution 5. We got 4 laps to go. Your current race leader is Aiden Schultz. Phelps on the outside. He's actually lost out just a little bit to Adam Malone, who currently sits on the inside lane. It's barely anything in it between these 2. This is the battle for P2. Aiden Schultz quite comfortable ahead of these 2 guys. So as long as he keeps it on track, it's going to be hard to see him drop back from where he is. But in saying that, these guys are really gaining out of turn 4. So Still might have a change for lead here between the two teammates. Phelps right on the rear bumper now, so he's looking to make a last lap opportunity happen. We've still got Malone lurking in the background as well as Duffy. So that's your top 4, and they're just in screen of one another now. Just, got Tom Pritchard, Ryan Barber, he moves up quite comfortably into the top 10. Allison, Matty Simpson, Agarthus in P9, and then Michael Budge is your top 10. Michael Shaw just shy of the top 10 right now. Tristan Koch in P12, Brian Bullock in P13, Oliver in P14, and then Colby Cullum is the last driver on the lead lap in P15, and then unfortunately for Darren McKenzie, he's a lap down in P16, so it's sort of what we got going on here. And we've got another caution. So this is caution 6 of the night, and they've all come in the last half of race, so get a gist of what actually happened. So Dave Oliver has crashed out, so good scenes for him. He was running in the top 10 quite frequently tonight, so I'll actually get him in the booth just to get a perspective on what happened. So just bear with me while I get him into the broadcast booth. Hey Dave, it's Blake from the broadcast booth. How you going?
Oh, hey Blake, how are you, mate?
Yeah, not bad. You brought out the 6th caution. What happened?
Oh, there was multiple cars in front of us crashing, and it was a case of I came through the smoke, and there was Kobe Jordan across the track. So,
right.
Yeah, not ideal. T-boned him and killed my motor. So, yeah, fun.
Wrong place at the wrong time, unfortunately. Then, but you're running the top 10 for majority of the race, and it's definitely come to a shock that it's ended that way, no doubt.
Yeah, it was looking good for a good top 10 finish there, and just trying to get through those last 2 laps, and it was just a case of wrong place, wrong time, and a bright green car completely 90 degrees across the track. So
no gear. We're only going to have one green-white checker, I think we have. It still says 3 laps to go, so I think we're going to have at least 2 laps. I think we might have the pace car drift off into pit lane this lap, if not the next lap. So just wait to go green flag racing once again here for the Texas 150 at Texas Motor Speedway. Currently your race leader is Aiden Schultz over his teammate, the championship leader in Ruben Phelps. So there's definitely a lot to play for between the two teammates. Got Adam Malone sitting in P3, so look for him to jump under this green-white checkered here, because he's going to be a force to be reckoned with on this final lap. And on the outside in row 2, you actually have Duffy, a surprising result for him tonight so far. So he'll be looking to maximise what he's got going here. Tom Pritchard rounding out your top 5. So really, any of the top 10 still realistic chances to really challenge for a race victory here if they can get a jump off the launch here. So I think, yeah, this is definitely going to be the last lap under, I think, what is the 6th or 7th caution. So I'm just waiting for the guys to go green here. The current race leader is Aiden Schultz, so his teammate on the outside lane in P2. So you can see the top 10 in screen there. Expecting the pace car to drift off left as it does there. So we're going green flag racing this time around. It's going to be Schultz over his teammate Ruben Phelps. He gets a good launch off the start there. We got 2 laps to go. In the background is a charging Adam Malone for Sunstars Esports. He's trying to get an overlap down the inside on Phelps, but it's not able to pull off out of turns 1 and turn 2. So down the back straight we go for the second last time. We've got Duffy trying to take the inside lane off of Adam Malone. Still not able to gain enough ground with that momentum that he had going. We've got Tom Pritchard in the background there fighting the back end of the top 5. Looks like he's barely holding off there as well. He's holding off Matty Simpson, who out of nowhere is quite comfortably in the top 10. Ryan Barber, once again, quite solidly in the top 10 as well in P7. Michael Budge, then Shaw, P9. Agarthos in P10. So that's your top 10. We'll go back to the race lead for the last lap here at Texas Motor Speedway for the Texas 150. It's Aiden Schultz over his teammate, Ruben Phelps. He's trying to take the inside line off Aiden Schultz. He's in an overlap. No, there's not. So he's just going to have to hold station here and get into the slipstream as quickly as possible down the back straight. So we'll quickly hop on board with Ruben here. Do we have another caution? We do. So green, white, checkered here. And there's going to be the two teammates once again. What's actually happened? So, you know, it's a checkered flag. So a 1-2 for AU, and they'll be quite happy with that. And we'll quickly hop on board with Aiden Schultz, who's cracking up a burnout, no doubt. There we go. A well-deserved victory for him, pretty much leading the entirety of this one from start to finish. Didn't qualify on the front row, but made quick ground in the early stage, and that really set him up for success tonight here, and he'll be in victory lane here at Texas Motor Speedway for the Texas 150. This is the simracermerch.com NASCAR Truck Series. This is round 3. That has concluded here with Aiden Schultz coming out victorious over his teammate Ruben Phelps, who did not qualify in the top 10, and Adam Malone, the lead Southern Star Esports driver. We have Garth Dussy and Matty Simpson rounding out your top 5. So very good result for Simpson there. Tom Pritchard in P6. Ryan Barber, he gets into the top 10 quite comfortably as well. He had a little bit of pace drama just after the 4th caution that set him back a little bit, and he regained that position up into the top 10. So wonderful recovery drive there. Michael Budge, Michael Shaw, and Agarthos rounds out your top 10. So we're just going to get to the guys reasonably quickly. Here, we'll get them into the broadcast booth when they're readily available in the green room. We'll get them in. So, yeah, congrats to the top 3, Schultz, Phelps, and Malone. So this definitely has a lot of implications on the standings as well. That means Schultz will take the lead of the series. Heading in the round 4, we head to Daytona next week with a couple 40-lap sprint races. So there's a lot of opportunity to gain as much points next week. You could have one bad race and recover from the next and still get a decent amount of points there. So we'll see what happens in regards to that. So the guys are just ticking on in and, ready to go. So I'll just hop on board in the green room and sort of make life a little bit easier here. So,
Darren, we're on the same strategy. And
hey guys, I just hopped on in this channel here just to make it easier for myself. Schultzy, race victory tonight, leading it quite comfortably for majority. And surprisingly enough, didn't qualify on the front row either. You made quick ground earlier on, and just from there on in, it really set up your result tonight.
Yeah, mate. Qualifying I nuffed, actually. Got loose out of 2 in the first lap, and then I was spending the whole time the second lap, obviously, trying to get that momentum back up. So I was quite surprised to start where I did. But, I felt good in the race. Had the pace, could keep the tyres on it, and it was a little bit how you going at the end with those late cautions, but we kept her up the front.
Good stuff. And I think after this result, you take the lead over your teammate, Ruben. So there was definitely a little competitive battle going on there between you two guys, just out of the last caution there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll take the lead, get a couple of bonus points there as well. It was good to see Ruben actually come back to a P2 after not having the best qualifying either. He got a 0x on his second lap, so he had to start down the back. So good to see him get back up in P2. But we were still racing for the front there at the end, but obviously going to do it cleanly. But no, it's good to see the two Aussie esports at the front of the grid again. I think that's maybe the third week in a row that we've done that, and it's our second 1-2 for the season, so it's good.
It's a good achievement there, absolutely. Daytona next week, couple of 40-lap races there, so you want to try and maximise your points there, no doubt. Is that a new structure in this series?
It is. I haven't run that yet. I was running another series, the series before this, and I was leading that, but because I do commentary myself, I missed out on the final round, and they did that format as well. So first time I'll be doing that format, but I think Daytona will be a little bit of damage limitation as opposed to possibly winning it, I think, because it's flick a coin at Daytona.
Absolutely. It's also very open circuit as well in comparison to Texas. Is obviously quite substantially longer, and a lot more closer racing as well. So you're going to have a lot bigger pack. So there's going to be a lot of room for error there.
Definitely. 2 wide racing, not so much a lot of 3. I don't believe the aero package in these trucks allow a lot of 3 wide racing consistently, although you can get that third line running. So I don't know. It depends on the other boys that race, whether they're patient or whatever. But being a 40-lap race at Daytona, I'll probably suspect a lot of people are going to want to be at the front. So we'll just wait and see how it goes. We'll have a lot of teammates in there to work with. So, next week's next week.
Awesome. Anyone you'd like to thank, especially coming out in victory lane tonight?
Of course, first and foremost, as always, my beautiful partner, Prue, #1 supporter. Of course, all the boys at Aussie Esports. We're a New Zealand, Australian-based team. Obviously, Ruben being from New Zealand, the other boys being from Australia. Of course, Ruben always pushes me to my limit. We always joke that we end up next to each other on the grid when we qualify because we're so close pace-wise. So big shout-out to Ruben as always. And obviously you and your racing network for the broadcast and all the other competitors that come out each and every week.
Awesome, mate. And, good luck for next week.
No worries at all. Hopefully we can get the 52 to the front again.
Ruben, P2, just shy of your teammate here. Obviously, not coming out P1, obviously the ultimate goal from a personal accolade point of view, but to come out with a team 1-2 like Schultze said before is a good result for both of you guys.
Yeah, definitely. Like I pretty much summed up my race before when you interviewed me earlier, but especially if I'm starting at the back and getting P2, so the best outcome you can get is second when you're against your championship nemesis, which is obviously my teammate. But no, that's fine. It's just what it is. When you screw up your qualifying, you sort of have to cut your losses and just make up for what you can get, and then go on for the next one.
Definitely got to wonder if you were to qualify better tonight. Hindsight's a very good thing, but if you were to qualify higher up, would that result change, or what do you reckon?
I definitely think I had something for a few people, especially first place there. Especially if I managed to on that first run when I started at the back, I just took my time and slowed up a lot in turn 1 and 2, and I ended up after that first round of pit stops and that green flag there, I actually put myself about 7th. So if I actually qualified where I should have been, which is somewhere in the top 5, or at least the top 6 anyway, I think I definitely would have led some laps and all sorts of things there. But hey, still, it is what it is, and I can salve my points a little bit. But of course, it would have been nice to still be championship leader. But hey, it's still going to take a 1-2 for the team, and you know that if we can salvage a 1-2 in the championship and all that, we'll take that over. Who doesn't matter who wins it.
So definitely no easy feat either with the quality of teams that we got in. Southern Stars Esports, no doubt one of your key team championship contenders as well.
Oh yeah, no, they've been building on their team. They're a couple of brand new teams, and they've got a big number of drivers in each of them. So we're in a little bit of negotiations with a couple of drivers to bring forward up there as well. So, but they will come in due time. Probably not till next year at this point, but we'll see how it goes, and we're definitely going to be bringing our Aussie Air Esport guys into the mix very soon.
So next week, Daytona, I guess similar thoughts to the likes of your teammate Aiden. Definitely a lot of teamwork going to be coming out of that 240-lap structure there. What's your expectations for next week?
I think, well, it's super speedway, so you always know what you're in for. Either let's say a wreck fest.
Yeah.
So, but no, it'll be interesting. But I think the first half, I know they're only 40-lap races, but I still reckon a little bit of patience and all that still definitely comes into a factor. But being 40 laps or 240-lap races, I think definitely got to need to be at least from first to about midfield for majority of that run, or you're just not going to get anywhere if you're going to just cruise at the back. So, but unless a big crash happens, and then you never know. But I'm sure there'll be a couple of cautions. But Daytona, you always is unpredictable.
Absolutely. Yeah, anyone you'd like to thank for your result tonight? And
But I've got to thank Aussie Esport and all the crew to getting, well, actually, to be honest, I paint the trucks, so I'm the one developing all the bloody engine. Must be making all the tools happen. So,
right, there's definitely quite a good few liveries going on amongst the team, and you're very noticeable on the broadcast as well. It's very good effort.
Oh yeah, they've definitely got a couple of newbies coming out for next season, so they'll be cranked out soon enough. But yeah, no, it's been good. We've only been as a team for about 4 or 5 months now. So because Aiden and I decided to break out a few teams that have been involved in, and they've all shut down. So we've decided to make our own team 5 months ago, and we're building it ever since.
Awesome. Yeah, good luck for next week.
Yes, man.
Adam, decent result tonight. You qualified well and truly inside the top 5, and obviously come out on the back end of the podium, up a couple of positions from where you started is definitely a good way to end the round.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, it was. I just tried to keep it in the top 5, top 10, hopefully, but it worked out real good. The strategy I was on. Had a good bunch of boys help out with the strategies, and yeah, it seemed to work out good.
So fortunes really didn't play the same for your teammate Mackenzie. He dropped off a lap down just before the last caution. These guys were working quite a bit there as well. It was his influence at the front at that stage, something that really helped what your outcome was tonight.
Oh, most definitely. It's a bit of a shame. He just short stinted with his fuel there. He came up a lap or two short, so he decided to go in a bit early and take the fuel, and which was a bit unlucky. If he hanged out a bit, he could got that in the when the yellow came out. But yeah, it was just didn't work out for Darren, which was a shame.
Definitely promising signs for yourself as well. Like I said, come home in P3 is quite an achievement, especially with the quality of drivers that we've got in the truck series as well. The likes of Aussie Esports there. Obviously, quite a challenge for you guys at Sun Stars Esports.
Yeah, there's some good drivers in this series. Yeah, real good bunch of boys.
So yeah, next week Daytona. What's to go there for yourself and your teammates and whatnot? is similar to the likes of Aussie Esports, or is there going to be a drift off somewhere else just to try and get the upper hand?
Um, we more than likely will work together, but I won't be here next week for Daytona, which will be a shame. But yeah, all I can do is just wish my boys good luck in that race. But most definitely they will work as a team if they can get with each other.
Awesome stuff. Is there anyone you'd like to thank before we start heading off? And
Yeah, I'd like to thank the Southern Star Esports, all the boys in there. That we just work good together. Can't ask for a better bunch of boys.
absolutely, very good result tonight, and yeah, good luck for 2 rounds time, and hope to see you back cracking up the front.
Yeah, thanks, Blake.
Thanks, mate. So there you have it. That has been round 3 of the Simracermerch.com NASCAR Truck Series, hosted by Full Throttle Sim Racing. And tonight it was Aiden Schultz who came out in victory lane at Texas over his teammate, Aussie Esports Ruben Phelps, and Sun Stars Esports driver Adam Malone, rounding out your top 3. So I've been Blake Tilbrook, owner and founder of Metamon Racing Community. Next broadcast we have up is the Monday night series in the IndyCar series for Full Throttle Sim Racing. So for now, between then, stay safe, and hopefully we get to that time pretty quickly. And as for the NASCAR Truck Series, once again, next Thursday night we'll be at Daytona for a structure that's new to me, definitely. 240 lap sprint races at Daytona. What could go wrong there? Like the drivers said, there's a lot of room for error, so we'll wait and see what unfolds there. But